Guys, welcome to Live Saga TV. It has been 2 days since we had a video, and of course it's just a matter of sometimes composing on what to talk about and also getting enough time to do so. So today we are having kind of reaction towards what we've seen around the country. Of course, we've had so many rallies, both the opposition and the government are running up and down. Just because Kenya, people don't want to rest. They have to fight for position. They have to create wealth. They have to create room for actually seeming like they are representing the citizens when in reality they are possibly presenting themselves. Because when you look at both sides, whatever they are talking about, even though on the surface it looks like they are focusing on what they'll do for citizens, it just started, then the internet was not working, so I had to pause some bundles for my case. So guys, I don't know what you understand about the two meetings that happened in Nairobi and Kondele. Why on the same day? And now when you look at Kondele, of course, it's Nyanza. And our president has been in Nyanza so many times since the coalition government. I don't know what exactly is going to look for. Is he not sure about the voice of the people, where the people stand, or is he just there to reassure them that they are going to make it in the government? Because most of the people, of course, when you look at Opio, Wandai, Badi, Gladys Wanga, you look at the brother to the Baba, that's Oburu Odinga, among others. Most of them are actually desperate, longing for a moment when they'll be in government, and this makes them actually to compromise a lot of things and to give statements that are confusing every day. Sometimes you just don't know whether they sit and think about what they say or they just come up with whatever statement they have to. So this has actually led to the president keep going to Kondele all the time. And what I want us to do this evening is just to analyze into the statements he gave while in Kondele. So let's check on the video. And of course, it will be a clear analysis through something else. And of course, on the other side, we saw that Gachagua chose Wakulima Market right in the CBD of Nairobi. Why the CBD? So when you look at the CBD, it's a place that will attract a lot of people. Of course, even though people are on business, when they see this kind of rally, they'll come out. Now, looking at the sentiments that Gachagua and his allies were giving, it was more combative, coercive. Listening to the voice of these people, actually they were focused towards sending a message to a particular person and allies instead of just dealing with the people and promising to the people, or maybe sharing what the agenda is and asking them what they have to do for them. Instead of what they'll do for them, they are asking what they'll do to the other party. Now, when you look on Kondele's side, the president was actually asking for reassurance that they work together so that he does some things for them. Now, it has become a country of promises. You promise so much so that people trust that if they pick you, they are going actually to lead, or rather arrive wherever they are supposed to arrive. And of course, these people are now picking each other's sentiments to use it for mockery purposes and also to use it as a campaign strategy. Now, one of the things that the president has picked from the opposition to use it is the 3 words: one term or Kasongo must go. So he is actually using that as a slogan to mock the opposition, as people don't have an agenda. The fact that what they do is just to go to a place and they do so. So now the opposition, of course, are still using the same words, but now they are giving statements, so many sentences before they actually mention Kasongo or must go. Yeah, or even they now say that in Kiswahili. Now you come on the other side of the opposition, of the government now. It has been blamed for giving false promises and also unrealistic realizations to the people. So what are they now doing? They have changed the narrative. So when they go among the people, they actually now ask who is with them. And they also now still, they emphasize on accusing the other part as lacking the brains. You know, that they are just there to state some things, but they don't know anything to do with the roads. They don't know anything with to do with the development. to do with the growth of the nation and actually doing the best as what the citizens want. Now, of course, you'd notice, if you are very keen, you notice that the president is avoiding to now mention SHA. Of course, SHA has a lot of sicknesses in the system, the collection itself. The fact that last week we saw about 2 cases where Duale was being asked even by JK on JK Alive whether he knows that if he was in another country he was supposed to be in jail for the failures that SHA has undergone. And he's supposed to have resigned. But he asked JK Live, why would I resign? And I'm the one who spends in the office from 8 to 5. That is exactly what he said. You know, in Kenya, if as long as you can speak and evade the questions, you are good to go. As long as you can create a theory about what you've done, you're good to go. So most leaders, they don't want to be accountable. All they do is they go to the studio ready to actually counter, because they know the questions the journalists will be asking. So they are set to respond to them. Unfortunately, I saw some leaders in Northeastern actually walking with placards, something like picketing. I just want to show that video before I proceed. So it seems that the Gachagwa's words are hitting hard on citizens in Northeastern generally, because we've seen not just the citizens, the common citizens, but some of the people who are actually vocal right there. And we hope the narrative will change for Northeastern. And of course, I hope you've also seen that one of the major leaders of Northeastern was being interviewed, and he could not account for a lot of money, a lot of millions that he's claiming he used to buy seeds, something like that, and it came up in a very horrible way. So let's just check on those two. If we don't get it, of course, it's something that is out on so many platforms. You can check on that. Because, of course, what we do as critical analysts is to check on what is happening out there, critiquing and realizing the messes right there. So there was a video actually with Northeastern people demonstrating. Yeah, here it is. I'm lucky to see it. So let me show you that Northeastern people have actually protested against their leaders. Look at that. Now, of course, you realize that this has just begun as a joke in Northeastern, but if it persists, this is going to be a serious issue. Now, you can see these people are holding placards which they have written. They have written, "No food, no life." Some have written, "Gachagua was right." Some have written, "Where is our governor? Where is our women rep? Where is our senator? Where is our MP?" Some have written, "Hatuna dawa, hatuna nini." So it's actually a stream of matters that they are trying to present out there. And the numbers are few, but I'm so sure that with time, maybe they'll be joined by many other people. And this is something to indicate that the Northeastern leaders have been out there defending a lot about what they have been doing, and the fact that they're just, Gachagua is just there to attack them. But I think the leaders were doing that to fool the citizens, not knowing that our citizens have finally woken up from their sleep. Let's just see what Maisha TV said about this. And of course, Gashagua's statements may actually be combative, but at the same time, there is a lot of truth in some things that are said. Just like Ndini Nyoro came up, you remember when Ndini Nyoro came up and said that education can be actually made free in day schools, and so many people are against that. Do you know today, Oscar Sudi has said that in his constituency, people will pay zero fee because there is 15,000 that comes from CDF. So you can imagine that. I've also seen which other constituency, some people have said that someone has also taken to the same. So, of course, something that begins like a joke spreads, and things begin to become better for the citizens. So I think it's very good that people are speaking in Kenya. It's not a crime to speak, especially if you're focused towards making things better for the citizens, right? And I think citizens appreciate when they see this. Now, I want us to go back to those meetings that were held. Of course, Gachagua and his group actually did a very large meeting at Nairobi. A mega rally. It's also a mega rally, just like the rally at Kondele was. And in my opinion, I've already shared what each of them was aiming to do. Of course, why the CBD? This is a place which is popular with so many people, and of course, they'll automatically have to come to the rally and listen to what they have to. So let's look at this again.
Hao polisi wamegeuka wa Kenya. Polisi kazi yao ni kulinda wananchi, hapana kuumiza wananchi. Iko kikundi haramu hapa Nairobi ya polisi. Polisi 12 wanaitwa Nairobi Sierra. Ndio walitumwa na William Ruto kuja kuua sisi kanisani. Na tumemwambia IG tarehe 16 tunarudi. Kama hao polisi hawajashikwa, tutaagiza maandamano kutoka Kisumu, Kakamega, Busia, Nakuru, Kericho, Nairobi, Nyeri, Machakos, Mombasa, Kitui, Harambee.
All right, guys. So you realize that there is already demonstration in Mandera, or rather Northeastern. So what Gachagua is actually saying that is something that people will pick up without necessarily even having somebody to go there and maybe deal with their matters depending on where they come from separately. And so this is very hurting to the government. No wonder that we can see attacks happening as what happened recently in Othaya. Too bad for a country. Whoever did that actually is supposed to be reined in court and face the consequences. I don't know whether it will happen now that Gachagua still continues to reveal that it was a group of the police sent from the CBD. Who knows? So let's wait and see. So the United Opposition kept speaking, of course, switching from Gachagua to Kalonzo Musyoka, then to we saw Mother Karua spoke for some while, then JB Muturi, Malala, and then they left for Mavoko. So we are going to listen partly to different people and just make comments on this because we are focusing to have 30 minutes of our video minimum. Remember, we have skipped around 2 days and it's not very healthy for the channel, actually. May I cast away this spirit of laziness on this channel because it's something that sends away the people who keep watching me. But I thank you so much for those who are watching, and continue subscribing to the channel. Encourage your friends to do so. We are almost approaching 500 subscribers, and once we skip that level and have watch hours that are suitable, we are good to go. Thank you guys. Let's continue watching this.
Nani aliua Gen Z? Nani ameharibu masomo? Nani ameharibu matibabu? Nani ameharibu uchumi? Nani ameumiza watu ya Marigiti? Kasongo aende asiende? Unajua ameshikana na gavana hapa anaitwa Sakaja. Ni kweli si kweli? Badala ya Ruto kuendeleza mpango huo, ameharibu. Sijui grade 10 watu wajui waende wapi. Wazazi walikuwa wakiambiwa wewe kwenda beba mtoto wako kwenda naye Alliance High School, Kenya High ukabishe. Maprincipal kusikia hiyo wote wakahama. Hakuna elimu Kenya ambayo inaendelea. Sisi tukichukua serikali mwaka ujao, sema mwaka ujao, tutahakikisha mtoto wa Kenya anatoka kutoka nursery school mpaka chuo kikuu, kwa sababu hao watu wameiba kura nyingi za pesa nyingi zaidi. Wacha kuambia watu utapeleka Singapore. Sisi kwanza, njia ya kwenda Singapore na kutema Singapore ni kudanganya wananchi. Njia ile safi. Kenya ni Kenya na sisi Singapore. Sisi tutainuana jiji sisi wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Watoto wa Kenya hawatakuwa wakifukuzwa shule kutoka secondary schools mpaka university. Tutaregesha Higher Education Laws Board. Tumesema hizi manyumba ambazo anaibia wananchi pesa, ile ambayo anaita affordable housing, hizo zote tutarudisha kwa makaunti na wananchi waregeshiwe pesa zao, kwa sababu ni wizi mtupu kabisa. Wananchi hoye! Nairobi hoye! Lakini leo tumewaambia barua ambayo Martha Karua ameweka saini leo, ikiwa William Ruto kama chairman wa National Security Council, na alafu deputy yake Kindiki na Inspector General huyu na waziri Musalia na wengine, kama hawatakomesha mambo ya gunism, sasa hakuna police service, ile iliyoko ni magun wasakaja.
Si mtu ambaye anaweza pata katiba ya Kenya. Ndio sababu ameharibu kila pembe. Masomo ndio hayo ameharibu. Uchumi ndio huo anaharibu. Vijana ndio hao wanashika na ua, wengine bado mpaka leo hajulikani kwenye wako. Kwa hivyo tumegundua Ruto ni dictator, ndio amesema juzi mwenyewe. Na ndio sababu naona, kwa sababu hana heshima kwa mambo ya katiba na sheria, anatuma askari. Siku hizi sio goons, anatuma askari kwa kanisa kwenda kupiga watoto, kina mama na wazee. Tumemwambia kwamba aanze uchunguzi ya kesi zote ambazo wametupiga na risasi na tear gas. Lakini muhimu kwa yote, tumemwambia tunataka pia zile kesi ambazo waliua majenzi wetu zichunguzwe mpaka ukamilisho wa hizo kesi. Jambo la pili, tumeambia huyo IG ya kwamba na aende ambie tajiri yake William Ruto kwamba akijaribu kuua Rigathi Gachagua, tutaenda hiyo State House, tutamng'atua kutoka kwa hiyo State House, aende nyumbani. Aende asiende, apotee asipotee, mimi nawaambia. Asanteni sana. Niko na kijana wangu hapa, kijana shupavu, mjumbe wetu wa starehe, Mheshimiwa Mwago. Huyu kijana anatosha atoshi? Aendelee asiendelee? Ashikiliwe asishikiliwe? Endelea mheshimiwa. Barikiti oye! Wamama oye! Wazee oye! Vijana fire! Vijana fire! Kwanza kabisa nianze na kuwashukuru sana, kwa sababu vijana saizi wamechanuka, si ni kweli? Saizi sisi tuna protect viongozi wetu, si ni kweli? Hadi tunakuambia mradi wako wa affordable housing lazima ukubali kuongea na wenyeji na ukubali kufanya public participation, lakini tunakuambia hapa naendelea kupomaria watu kama maumbwa. Jameni, leo ni leo.
All right, so of course when you listen to those messages, they were directed just to the president and his allies, not to the citizens. Of course, as they are promising to actually have change, all they are saying is so and so, or something like that. But they are not telling us what initiatives, what plans. I just don't understand the Kenyan politics, why sometimes we don't address issues, we address people. And we use people to address people all the time. That has been the trend. And unfortunately, this is what is letting us down as a country, because we keep wasting time on focusing on who has to go and all that. And with time, we don't focus on what we have to do for the citizens. How I wish that it could be the other way, that we could just have people will come campaign by telling us what they'll do and never telling us about so and so, how this one doesn't have the brains. Because you look at the president on the other side, while speaking at Kondele, all he had to say is how some people are lacking brains and all that. Let's just look for a clip here. I don't know whether it's this.
Niongee na ODM. Munanipatia ruhusa? Tayari. Muko tayari?
In Kisumu, President William Ruto stood in Kondele, Raila Odinga territory, preaching unity, development, compensation for protest victims, and openly floating a UDA-ODM political marriage.
Na sisi UDA tuko tayari. Na tutafanya kazi na ODM, tutengeneze serikali ya kwenda mbele. Munasema mutatuunga mkono. Munanipatia ruhusa. Niongee na Oburu Oginga. Niongee na ODM. Munanipatia ruhusa. Hebu nione wala wanasema munanipatia ruhusa tuunde serikali. Kwa hivyo harambee. 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 Tuko pamoja. Tunasonga mbele. Bas.
On the surface, it looked like parallel rallies. In reality, it was a stress test of two very different survival strategies ahead of 2027.
Kutoka Kisumu, Kakamega, Busia, tutamung'atua kutoka kwa hiyo state house haende nyumbani.
Notice what was missing: a transition from grievance to governance. No economic architecture, no coalition mass, no single opposition flag. That's not accidental. It is still unresolved. Now contrast that with Ruto. Ruto went to Kondele not to convert ODM voters, but to normalize the idea that Raila Odinga's base is politically available. He bypassed ODM leadership structures and spoke directly to the street, asking permission for coalition talks in public.
Munanipatia ruhusa. Niongee na Oburu Oginga. Niongee na ODM. Munanipatia ruhusa. Hebu nione wala wanasema munanipatia ruhusa tuunde serikali.
That's pressure politics. If ODM says no, they look obstructionist. If they say yes, they fracture internally. If they delay, Ruto keeps occupying the space. And by emphasizing projects, housing, compensation, he's not campaigning. He is underwriting himself. Delivery is his collateral. Coalitions are his insurance. Here's the truth few want.
So of course you realize that coalition is something that Ruto is really focused towards, because he knows once he makes it, then there is no other way. He will be the only horse in the race, and while the rest will be donkeys. So of course today CHUKA girls has had a very chaotic moment as parents storm school demanding the removal of the principal for torturing students. So let's get into the event and check on what happened at CHUKA girls. Now, schools, of course, are institutions which are supposed to provide comfort for the students and teachers, among other workers. However, looking at what happened over the holiday, and as teacher Trifree was interviewed, among others, it is clear that schools are no longer a place of comfort to both teachers and students. Sometimes people are intimidated and frustrated to a level that they wouldn't wish to be actually at the workplaces. It starts with a small aspect, but then it broadens and expands and spreads into a very large aspect. And of course, one of the issues is the welfare. The general welfare of the students or teachers is never catered for. And there are those who actually believe in coercive leadership. leadership that they'll actually use to oppress others and make them feel them. So as far as we have been talking of matters of mental health and the stability of the teachers, that they go to class when they're comfortable. Unfortunately, it's happening that the place where they spend most of the hours is becoming the worst environment ever. No wonder some of them would feel like teach and go home. Just get into the class and disappear even to the vehicle if you have one, or get out of the school and come back for the next lesson. We have those who feel like once they finish, they should go. But again, this same office will make sure that they talk to the people who make a timetable and they spread the lessons from the beginning to the end and make this teacher available in the school the whole day in a very stressing environment. It is unfortunate, actually, and this sometimes makes some teachers feel like none of their family members should ever be a teacher again. Now, it's not just for teachers. At least for the teachers, they are adults. Now, what about students? There are schools whereby students are mistreated from the classes to the assemblies and back to the dormitories. Anytime they meet their principals or even teachers, they are actually addressed as if they don't deserve to be in the school, or if they have to be there, it is a prison or jail kind of situation. Now let's look into the CHUKA girls situation. Here we are.
You get a separate sheet, you as a parent, showing a different finger from that is captured in the big form. Let's say, for example, first term, the fees is 28,500. You will get a separate sheet showing you will pay a fees of 29,500. So you can imagine, if you are 1,000 students there, you know these arrears, the charge is 1,000 extra. 100,000 cool comes to her pocket without a sweat. That's my grievance.
Watoto wetu kwa ile shule they are working under very strong stress, na wakati tunaenda huko sometimes is sympathize there. Kama kuna incident moja mtoto wangu na ngumu kiragwa kitabu na mambo ya ile shule, mambo mengi, na before nifike pale nilikuta huyo mtoto amefanya punishment 1 full week akiwa na roll meet kutoka hapa kwenda pale pengine. And when we tried to ask what was happening, ile kitu ilitustua ni kwamba hata wakati walipotumwa kwenda kufanya punishment, there was no good follow up ya kujua whether these people were culprits. Ni mtoto aliandika majina, akaulizwa mlifanya hii na nani, akaandika so and so, akapelekwa, and then they were picked from the class na wakaenda kufanya hiyo punishment for a whole week. When we went there, we tried to argue with the parents. No teacher there, that teacher could not listen to us. Ile njia natukujia nao ni kama already tuko out. Paka ikafika mahali tukawa sasa hatuna ile hata tu. The person that said that in the same girl ule aliwaandika, ndio alirudi akaenda akaweka barua kwa the appeal akiwa ameapologize. By good luck we took that letter tukapelekea walimu. That is the way we saved our daughter. But already walikuwa wamefanya punishment for a whole week. Now, another one. Our watoto wetu shule, they sleep very little hours. Na tunashindwa, I don't know, mimi si mwalimu lakini sometimes we wonder. Mtoto anafanya kulala dakika chache, na akiamuka make a mistake of sleeping in class. Instead, kama mimi when I was schooling, kama ukikutwa na some simple punishment, unaambiwa kimbia darasa, unakimbia uwanja na moja unarudi darasani. Imagine CHUKA girls the suspension. Suspension because of such a minor case. Sleeping in mass. If you are found sleeping in mass, suspension. You tunasema please, all this kind of whatever, ndio sinameki hao watoto wanakaa with a lot of stress. Now we noticed from the very beginning with this one performance from zero. And we have been raising these issues bwana director. Si ati tulikuwa tunakimia. We have been very patient. Hata wakati walikuwa wanafanya strike huko na kukuruta walimu nywele, sisi tulikuwa pale. Tukachukua tu uzima, tukawa watu wazima. Lakini tumevumilia mpaka mpaka sasa imefika mali mtu mmoja alikuwa anasema it is now above my belt. Thank you.
Watoto wote wanalazimishwa kwenda Masia Catholic. Including the Muslims. Na tunajua kuna kitu inaitwa freedom of association. Na kuna freedom of association. Huwezi lazimisha mtoto kufanya nini? Alafu you must tithe. Lazima watoe sadaka. Mtoto akikuomba pocket money anakuambia mom daddy hii ni ya sadaka. Lazima trend na kutrend na nini na watoto wetu. Unauzua mgumu shilingi 20. Shilingi 5. Sasa nashindwa kama unapanish mtoto akiwa amelala unamtuma suspension 2 weeks. Wale unapea kazi wa kuuzia wengine watoto zaidi ya 600 ngumu. Na wao ndio wanapata time kwenda class. Na mbona wanauzwa na 20? So we paid for big kids. Every year we pay for a pair of uniform. Every year for a pair of uniform. For what? For what? 3,100 shillings. Mrs. Mutina stand to the girls to be a smoker duka kioski somewhere. Akitaka hii anapatiana. We have even a problem with how did she arrive at changing CHUKA girl's name? Were we involved? No. Parents, do you know who are the BOG members of CHUKA? No. Do you know your class reps? No.
Who is calling our children brats, mates, and and then there is this teacher that is called Teacher Rose. And then the class and on suspension. I'll make sure you'll be going for suspension. There is a time our children slept in the dining. Mtoto ajalipa fee anaekwa dining. Mishinda ya mzazi. Mishinda ya mtoto. So our children are stressed. Hata tusome hata wazazi wakiongea nyumbani wameona hata mtoto amechange hata vitabu is not in there. They are saying hawezi enda kufanya kazi ya polisi sababu ya ni military. So they are in the military camp. So sasa na ni watoto wa wasichana shwari. Hiyo character wacha tu aende. Nimekuja kusema tumeshangaa sana sababu wakati tuliitwa shule tulijichagulia representatives wetu. But yeye amebadilisha na akaliplace wetu akaweka wake. Sisi kwa nini? Sasa tunataka kujua kwa nini hao sisi hawatatuserve. Tunasabiwa na wale tulijichagulia.
This Mrs. Mushila, I don't know why for any reason she came to CHUKA to destroy a good school. When she came to CHUKA girls, the girls there were not walking naked. They had uniform. Then she came with her own business mind. Just to make sure the uniform I'm dealing with gets a market, he phased out the uniform that we had without consulting us. So you can imagine, a parent who had bought a new set of uniforms for a kid. You had to go back to the market, and the market is Mrs. Mushina herself. This uniform is only available at Mushina's shop at a price determined by her against the laws of supply and demand that are supposed to determine prices. You pay for this uniform, and it is never issued in full, and you pay for it year in, year out. Kindly take note of that.
Mtoto wangu akasema maajabu. It hurts me wakati ninasikia unanitajia mtoto. This is a woman to woman. Mimi si kwenda maternity nikazaa pardon. Hapana, I slept, I carried my pregnant for 9 years. 9 months. I went to maternity so all I want ni kama hatutamtoa leo kwa sababu mnajua mtoto wangu hata nitoa barua shule nzuri. I'm a victim. Nilipeleka mtoto wangu huko akiwa na 380. It is painful kuona mwalimu ananitanjia mtoto wakati nimecomment kwa group imepewa mpaka ruhusa imetengenezwa na wazazi, ananiambia ananijua mpaka na watoto wangu na najua mtoto mpaka class. So I am a victim. Sijui kama mtoto wangu uko safe huko. Usipomtoa nijue mtoto wangu nitapata amekufa. Because wakati mwalimu ananichanja, ananiambia your mama this, admission this class, ni kuonyesha kama sitapata time ya kutoa mtoto wangu hiyo shule, ni kumaanisha mtoto wangu nitapata maybe amefanywa kitu, na ninaomba tafadhali
other schools, and we know every year a school has to have an AGM. I think it's even the requirement of the ministry. But since we joined the CHUKA, we have never had an AGM, and even this year in the newsletter that we are given, there is no program for any AGM. Two, I was also threatened, and I was told, kuja tukutane. I came for the induction meeting. It was postponed 3 days to the meeting. And I questioned on the WhatsApp group. She told me, kuja tukutane. I came, she ran away. Akasema na mgongo. So, nilikuwa nataka tukutane na yeye, anielezee if we are idle, ya kwamba tunapewa notice ya 3 days. 3, induction ya form 1 is 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Alafu 3, Mr. Director, are you aware that there is an investigation by NEC in the same school? I know you don't know, but there was a bad practice last year, and that's why I'm feature my results. There was a problem. NEC is investigating the school. This is a new information I got, and I can give evidence.
Kwa sababu alileteliwa na the principal, na the principal akapigia the sponsor anasponsor na Equity because the mother is not there. So the guy that was taking care of the girl, I don't know whether she managed to come today because aliambia afanye kibarua kwa Maua. I don't know whether she's here today, but sijamuona. Akaniambia amevileteniwa na akaambiwa that support is going to be withdrawn. So bwana director, huyo mzazi kesi yake ifuatiliwe, ndio mtoto wake anasponsor na Equity, na walipigiwa simu, mzazi alienda kuwakilia, wakakataa kumsikiza. So tunaomba kama wazazi, kama mbonify parent, kilio ya mzazi isikizwe. Number 2,
na yeye pia aliambiwa akuje na coffin
achukue those that are not bearable, and as a parent and a concern, we are saying today, Musina must.
Francis Mudhima Kau, mimi ni mzazi kwa shule ya upili ya CHUKA Girls. My girl is katika kidato cha 4 hapo. Na the purpose of our being here today is to peacefully protest because of the way, sababu ya vile mambo yanaendeshwa kwa hiyo shule.
All right, guys. So, of course, what is this now? Of course, most times parents don't have a voice in school, but sometimes if they come up with a moment where they can meet aside, they can actually win. Unfortunately, for most schools, there are a lot of problems, but most parents are not aware. And some of these principals, what they do is to actually create a divide and rule situation. Some of them can also be looked to be very pleasant to the kids, but in reality, they are killing them so slowly. In fact, some students are getting results that are not theirs, and those results are not going to help them. So they actually disregard teachers who are worth. They actually perform a lot of mediocrity. But at the end of the day, these students will go out there and they will not even study for the course they are supposed to. But anyway, I hope God always watches. And they always say God does not fail to see what is happening. So adios again on this platform. I appreciate those who came to watch today, and I hope I'll keep up showing up consistently. Bye bye for now. Ona blanket zenu nimekunja, mkunjue ndio mjifunike, sawa?